Cheap homesteading, and today we're going to work on the Massey 50 Dozer blade project. You know what, this project has taken longer than I thought it was going to be, and we are kind of getting into the part of the year that we could very easily get snow. And I have been blessed with a lot of nice weekends, so this is probably the fourth weekend I've worked on the blade. It's just taken so much longer, so we're going to continue working on it, and hopefully we can get a lot done. So let's go. So this is where we're at. I got both subframes built, and I'm really happy the way they come out. So today we're going to try to build a bracket that comes from here, and it'll go to the rear axle, and I think I'm going to hook it up to this bracket right there. So let's start building that. The first thing I'm going to do is I cut a piece of that 2x4, and I'm going to weld that to the bottom of that bracket, and then I'm going to make a bit of a gusset. I want to make sure it's actually lined up with the frame of the blade, so whenever I hit something it goes straight back to the axle. Okay, so there you go. I got it all tacked in. I'm going to come back with the arc welder and weld it in solid. Man, this takes a long time. You know what? I've been 3-4 hours at this for some reason, and all I've done is the two stabilizers back to the rear axles. I'll show you what I got done. Okay, so I got the stabilizer brackets all welded in, and they're all the way to the brackets that go on the axle, and I welded on a little bit of a gusset. So I did this side too. That's all welded in, and I got a gusset in there, and she's all welded in place. So we ran out of time the other day, and we're back at it. It is definitely cooler today, so hopefully it warms up today, but we're gonna start mounting the cylinders. So we got two small double acting cylinders, so we're gonna mount them here. I'm gonna check the other side, and we're gonna see if it's gonna interfere with anything else. You wanna make sure on both sides you're not gonna interfere on anything, so it'll look good here, just behind the plate, and probably just before the plate on the blade. I'm going to use two of these 2x4 pieces that we cut when we made the subframe. I'm going to weld it to the inside of the subframe, and then we're just going to weld the cylinder mount to it. And it naturally has gussets built into it, and that'll be super, super strong. So I think that's going to work good. So we're going to start making that. I tacked the cylinder mounts in place, and then we're just going to remove the cylinders, weld it up, and then hopefully we can start hooking up the hydraulics and actually see this thing lift. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to weld this in place. I'll probably put a gusset here to keep this from twisting back and forth. And here is the bracket on the back. I think that's going to work good. So I'm going to remove the cylinder and we'll start welding. Okay, so she ain't pretty, but she's welded in there. She ain't falling off, I don't think. So I'm going to just grind this up a little bit, and we're going to start installing the cylinder and see if it lifts good. I have changed my mind 3 or 4 times about how I'm going to lift the blade. I started off, was just going to use the bracket that came with the blade. It basically lifts the chain, lifts the front of the blade. But the front of my tractor is not very easy to mount a bracket to. There's not enough bolt holes, and it'd be quite a bit of welding to make this happen. So I thought, you know what, cylinders are probably the cheapest and the fastest way to get my blade to lift up, and I'll actually have down pressure, which is kind of cool. So when you're actually blading, you can use down pressure, just put it in float, and it'll just go along the earth. Cylinders in the long run are probably much better, but I dug around and I found some old cylinders, and they're little cylinders. I had bigger ones, but they just weren't going to fit. There's just not enough room with the tractor to make it fit properly. So we're going to install 2 little cylinders, and I'm hoping that it'll be strong enough to put a little bit of down pressure. I'm sure it'll be able to lift it up. There's no issue with that. So we're going to start installing the cylinders. So we're just going to leave the cylinders on there loose. I'm not going to tighten everything. We're going to hook up all the hoses. I just want to see how well it lifts. Maybe this whole thing won't work and I have to redesign it. I really think it will, but you just never know. All it has to do is be able to lift it. This day has just kind of got away from me again. But I thought I need to have my blade lifting under its own power today. After I hook up the 2 main lines, we should be able to try it. This is what it looks like. There's the one down there that I hooked up the 90 degree. It looks really, really good. I need to switch this one out for 90 degree, and I think that will be absolutely dandy. And this one here, we ended up using the plumbing fittings, so I got to change them out. But we still have a lot to do. I need to put some hose hanger brackets to hold the hoses up, put loom on them, and maybe put a guard so we won't actually hit the hoses. Okay, so there you go. We're going to try this. So there you go. The sun is setting. I'm running out of time, and I'm still not done my blade, but I do see some light at the end of the tunnel. So the blade goes up and down. It doesn't go up and down very fast, but you know what? I pretty much knew that was going to happen because the tractor doesn't have a lot of hydraulics. Someday we might fix it, maybe put another pump in it or whatever, but for now I'm going to be happy with that. I still have quite a bit of work to do to the blade. I have to build a bracket so I can sturdy the front of the blade on the front part of the frame. When you hit a rock on one side of the blade, it's going to shove it one side. You want it to actually be up against the front of the frame, not all on the back pins. So I still have to do that, and I still have to put hose mounts, and I have to put 9-degree fittings because I didn't have them. But it is very encouraging to actually see it lift and lower. But I am running out of time today, so that's about enough for today, and you guys have a good one.